Okay, guys, I wanted to jump on really quick because there are two big mistakes that I'm seeing women make when it comes to weight loss and fat loss. They're two different things, by the way, but it affects both of these things. The first mistake that I'm seeing, I see a lot, is not paying attention to dietary fat. So I'll see food logs come in, and keep in mind, even when you are trying to weigh, measure, all of that stuff, there's still going to be some human error, right? There's going to be error in your labels. So we know that the numbers that you're logging are not going to be 100% accurate. We want them to be as close as possible. But that being said, there is going to be some error. When I see these coming in, I'm seeing 35%, 40% fat, and that matters. If you have a weight loss goal, you have a fat loss goal, you should be tops 25 to 30% dietary fat. Now, here's the thing, and here's why. When it comes to fat, there are 9 calories for every gram for fat. With protein and carbs, there are 4. So when we take into account any kind of error, if you're putting in too much fat, I promise you you're getting too many calories because there's hidden fat in everything, especially if you're eating out, right? So pay attention to the amount of fat that you're taking in. What I tell people is just be very discerning with where your fat is coming from. There's a difference between eating healthy and eating for fat loss or weight loss. Yes, avocados, they're healthy. Yes, salmon, healthy. Nuts, healthy. Egg yolks, healthy. But when you're putting your meals together, you want to be discerning with the fat that you're taking in. So if you're going to have the egg yolk, which is fine, don't couple that with whole milk and avocado toast because it's going to put you over in your fat intake. If you're going to eat higher fat proteins like beef, salmon, pork, things like that, you don't want to add it to a salad where you're putting on even 2 to 3 tablespoons of dressing. You want to choose options that are less in fat, so you're balancing that out through the day. If you're in a deficit, and even if you're at 25, 30% fat for most women, it's going to feel low fat, even though it's not. So practice that, pay attention to your dietary fats. It's going to automatically bring your calories down and it's going to create more results for you. So that's number 1. Number 2, if you are in a deficit, be in a deficit. Don't dilly-dally around. Don't say you're going to do a deficit, and then 3 days out of the week, you go over by 100 calories, you go over by 200 calories, next thing you're going over by 400 calories. But it feels in your brain like you're doing a deficit, but you're not getting results. At the end of the day, you have to be taking in less calories than you are burning off. And I see this all the time where we'll put somebody in a deficit and the first 4 days, it's like perfect, right? And then they hit the weekend, then they hit a holiday, then they hit whatever. And they're like, went out of town, or somebody brought me cake or whatever. I didn't want to say no, right? And the next thing you know, those calories are starting to go up. Hello, Chloe. Those calories are starting to go up, and they think just because the rest of the week they were in a deficit and it felt really hard that they're in one. And when you do the numbers and you balance those out, what you'll find is that you are no longer in a deficit. It's why I'm a fan of doing them for shorter periods of time, so your brain doesn't get completely fried from it. But when you do it, be very intentional. Keep it short enough that you can actually follow through with it, even on the weekends, even if you're going somewhere, special event. I would not do a deficit during those periods of time, but if you have to, then you have to suck it up and do the deficit. If you're going to do it, actually do it, and then get back out of it and go back into maintenance. And then you can probably increase your fat too. So hopefully this helps. We'll talk to you guys all soon.